What's going on, everyone? My name is Under the Radar, and welcome back to the Pokemon 4 Glory. My shirt is going to be changing colors throughout this video, so I apologize in advance. However, welcome back to the Pokemon 4 Glory. This is going to be the Week 3 team builder. So I want to try something a little different this week. Mainly because I've never told you guys how much a team changes for me when I actually build it. To give you guys a little bit of reference, the Week 1 battle went live today. That is when I've made my first rough draft for this team. And this is for Week 3. Week 2's already done. So I wanted to show you guys what my first rendition of this team is going to be, why it's going to be that way, and then I'm going to show you what my final team is and why I made certain changes after I do my series of mock battles that I normally do. I normally try to do between 5 and 7 mock battles per game. But I feel like this would be a really cool thing for you guys to see, how my thought process changes as I go across building a team. This will probably be a longer team builder, probably close to like 25 minutes or so. If you don't want to watch the whole thing, I understand. You can skip right to the end to see the final team. However, you won't get as in-depth. But let's go ahead and talk about my first opponent, or my opponent this week. I don't know why I said first. He has a very threatening team. He has Jirachi, Mimikyu, Milotic, Fortress, Rotom, Heat, Mega Garchomp, Swellow, Weavile, Gligar, Meganium, and Girder. Now, his team against mine is really, really weird. I have really good checks to pretty much everything on his team except for Mimikyu and Weavile. Those are probably the two things I don't have the best switch-ins to. However, everything else I have decent switch-ins to, and maybe Mega Garchomp. So his 3 physical offensive mons I don't really have the best switch-ins to. However, I do have good offensive checks to them, so that is definitely something to keep in mind. Jirachi is something that has a decent matchup against my team. However, it's very weak to Sandrill. I fully expect him to bring Milotic to try to beat Sandrill, so I have a plan for that as well. And I fully expect him to bring Fortress to try to set up against my team with hazards, even though I do have hazard removers now. I have one really good hazard remover, so I'm going to try to play around that as best as I can. And I definitely think that Gligar has a decent matchup too. That might be his check to Sandrill, because Ironhead is doing about 33% to it from the last time that I played it. And I used a Gligar to help wall it, so I can kind of sort of guess what his team is going to be. If I had to guess, it would be Jirachi, Mimikyu, Milotic, Fortress, Mega Garchomp, Weavile, and then maybe Gligar sprinkled in there somewhere, maybe over Fortress. So that's kind of the 6 that I'm expecting, maybe even Swellow, but even then I have a decent check to that. So when I looked at his team, I realized that I have a couple really, really, really good win cons. Let's just go ahead and start talking about him. First off is this Mega Sceptile. With an Adamant Mega Sceptile, he has no switch-ins to it. Nothing wants to switch into the combination of Rocks plus Leaf Blade plus a coverage move, or Rocks plus Dragon Claw plus a coverage move. The only thing that really wants to switch into it is Fortress, and Fortress is pretty well handled on this team, as you can tell from my later mons. It's pretty well handled. So I definitely think that this mon is going to be my win con late game, especially if he doesn't bring Weavile, or if Weavile is weakened, or if the rest of his team is weakened and I still have my check to Weavile healthy, which I'm sure you can see on the team. This mon, it will weaken his team severely. I do have a couple different win cons this week. This is going to be one of them depending on what he brings. Rock Slide is there pretty much just for Rotom Heat. It does about 60% or so if he's max HP, so meaning he can't switch into Rocks plus a Dragon Claw plus a Rock Slide. It's very hard for him to switch into this mon, especially with coverage. He has to sack something off, bring in an offensive check that can outspeed it, or bring in Weavile and then go along with it from there. So this mon is very, very good against his team. Earthquake is there just for Jirachi. Again, max HP. It does about, give or take, about 50%. So after Rocks, it can 2-hit KO him. The only way you can check it is Scarfed Jirachi. So overall, Mega Sceptile is very, very threatening against his team. Then I wanted to bring Gigalith. I wanted to bring Gigalith because Stealth Rocks are super important to help wear down things like Rotom Heat, Weavile, and Gligar, along with Swellow, and his Mega Garchomp, actually, and his Mimikyu. So Rocks are super important in this game. And you're probably wondering why I have the Rindo Berry whenever his Grass type is Meganium. Well, with my max HP, my max defense, a +2 Mimikyu with Play Rough cannot do more than like 60% to me, unless he has Wood Hammer. And if he has Wood Hammer, since Mimikyu is one of his offensive Z move mons, it's very possible he could bring Z Wood Hammer. So, to try to counteract that a little bit, I'm going to run a Rindo Berry, make sure that he can't just Bloom Doom in my face without me getting off an Earthquake and breaking his disguise. That's the one thing that I really wanted to make sure that I do this game, is make sure that nothing on my team can allow Mimikyu to set up a Swords Dance while still having his disguise up. Because, like, let's say I'm in with my Sceptile. I click Leaf Blade, break his disguise, he sets up a Swords Dance, he either has to go for Shadow Sneak, which I don't believe can kill me from full, and I can get off another Leaf Blade and do a massive amount of damage to it, or I let my Mega Sceptile go down, I go into my Gigalith, I take a Wood Hammer or a Bloom Doom, click Earthquake, weaken it down, and then I have my Alolan Persian in the back, which can do about 60% to it with a Foul Play, so... And at +2, it just completely OHKOs it. So, overall, I definitely think that these two mons together really help prevent my Mimikyu, his Mimikyu from sweeping me. Toxic is also there because I would love to be able to Toxic his slower mons. If he wants to run Defog on his Gligar, he can't be Immunity, so I can go ahead and Toxic that, I can get that on a timer, and then I can start wearing it down with things like Mantine, things like Mega Sceptile, and even my Snorlax to an extent can wear it down pretty easily. So there is definitely some good synergy with Gigalith on this team. It definitely can do a lot of different roles this game, so I'm really looking forward to it. And now my biggest win con of this game is going to be this Nihilego set. This Nihilego set I came up with on my own. I didn't have any help with it. However, I am going to say now, I love this Nihilego set. It is designed to give me the speed boost whenever I kill a mon, and with the Expert Belt and 160 into special attack, I'm able to fully blow back quite literally everything on his team. If everything has taken like a little bit of chip damage plus Stealth Rocks, this sweeps through his entire team. Let me remind myself. Like Weavile, if I get one Beast Boost into Speed, and I have my 100 defense EVs, Ice Shard is doing 40% maximum to me, while Power Gem is doing 119% to him. Milotic, if he's defensive, I'm trying to think, Thunderbolt does 39 to 46 after Stealth Rocks, and if I get it Poison or something like that, wait, that's not max defense, shit. Yeah, it's 20. It has a 20% chance to 2-hit KO after Leftovers Recovery. With Stealth Rocks up, it's a 99% chance to 2-hit KO Milotic if he's physically defensive. Mega Garchomp. I'm trying to remember all of these calcs that I did earlier. Mega Garchomp with Dazzling Gleam. Dazzling Gleam takes 58 to 69, so if that takes even one Scald plus a layer of rocks from my Mantine, if it takes a Foul Play from Persian, if it takes an Ice Punch from literally anything, if it takes a Leaf Blade from Sceptile or a Dragon Claw, it's instantly in range of Dazzling Gleam. The only thing that this thing can't easily clean up is Jirachi, and that is only because Jirachi is super fat and Hidden Power Fire only does about 30% or so to it. So even if I get that down to about 60%, it cannot switch into the combination of a Thunderbolt plus a Hidden Power Fire or two Hidden Power Fires or anything of that nature. The big thing I did want though is to gain that speed boost, so at +1 it forces his Weavile to go for Ice Shard. It can't do more than 40% to me, even if unless he's Adamant Life Orb, which he can't afford to be Adamant because he has to be Jolly to outspeed my Persian. And I can just click Power Gem and kill it. And then that is the biggest threat to my entire team gone. If his Weavile is gone, he literally has nothing to offensively check my Mega Sceptile. It's quite literally zero. So I really do like this Nihilego set. It's very, very unique and it's very fun. Expert Belt is going to be really nice. Plus I might be able to bluff a choice item in the late game. But then we have my physically defensive Mantine. It's there pretty much just for Mega Garchomp. Rock Slide after Stealth Rocks can 2-hit KO me. But like if rocks aren't up on his side, I feel like, let's say I prevent rocks, because I do have a way of preventing rocks this game, I'm able to take a Rock Slide, 2 Rock Slides after Leftovers Recovery. So that's pretty nice. I can Roost up on it as well. I can Toxic it, and I can click Ice Beam. So Ice Beam is also really nice for Gligar. So I really like this mon. I really like this mon in this matchup. It's going to be very useful at either preventing hazards, like as a lead off, to scare out either Gligar or Garchomp, It's going to be very good at weakening Mega Garchomp, or it's going to be very good at killing Gligar. This thing also has a lot of rolls. These 4 mons together I think are very, very good. This can also live a +2 Play Rough from Mimikyu. I think that was another reason why I liked it as a physically defensive mon, because it can break the disguise. Mimikyu. Yeah, +2 Play Rough if rocks are not up, cannot Okomi. If he doesn't have Life Orb, like say he's Z Woodhammer, even after rocks, Play Rough cannot kill me, and I can get off the 27% I need to instantly kill it with Foul Play for my person. So this is also a very good check to Mimikyu. Even Woodhammer, I believe, is weaker than Play Rough because it's neutral. Yeah, Woodhammer does 32% max to me. So Mantine is a very good check this game to some of his more offensive threats. But then we have Snorlax. This is very good at checking his special offensive threats. Swellow and Rotom Heat specifically. They're very, very good at checking those with Body Slam, Brick Break, Ice Punch, and Earthquake. It's very good at weakening Swellow to the point where it can't take a Power Gem from my Nihilego if I get one Beast Boost. It can't live a hit from Sceptile, things of that nature. Ice Punch is there pretty much just for Garchomp and Gligar. If I can get off that nice little bit of chip damage on them, it instantly puts them in range of Ice Beam for my Mantine, Dragon Claw for my Sceptile, 2 Leaf Blades, things of that nature, or a Dazzling Gleam or a Power Gem or something like that. So Snorlax is going to be very useful. I have the Chople Berry there with this investment in defense because this allows 252 special defense, careful nature, plus 92 in HP allows me to guarantee take 3 Specs Boom Bursts from Swellow, even after Stealth Rocks. So I'm able to completely shut it down. And if it's not Specs, like say it's like Scarfed or whatever, I can wall that thing to hell and back, force it to take more rocks damage, and pretty much just weaken it down for my entire team. And if he is Scarf Swellow, he cannot do anything to this mon because I resist Boom Burst. It does literally 0 to my Nihilego, and that is going to be the perfect fodder for me to get my speed boost on. So I do really, really like having this as a little scout for his Swellow. So now Persian is probably going to be the most important mon this game because it is my main check to Weavile. It's very good at taking Icicle Crashes plus knockoff. He cannot kill me with 3 Icicle Crashes if he has Life Orb. He cannot do it. This is how I'm also thinking about preventing Stealth Rocks from getting up on my side of the field. I'm either, depending on what he leads with, if he leads with Fortress, I'm going to lead off with this and I'm going to taunt him. If he leads off, if he brings Garchomp with no Fortress and Garchomp is his only rocker, or Gligar is his only rocker, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to click Taunt on either one of those, prevent him from getting up Stealth Rocks, Parting Shot out, or Hidden Power Ice depending on which mon it is. If it's Gligar, I might just click Parting Shot, go into Sceptile and start being Ow, or go into my Gigalith and get up my own Stealth Rocks. If it's Garchomp, I'm going to click Hidden Power Ice and instantly weaken it to where I can't take on my Mega Sceptile, or switch into it, or take a Dazzling Gleam from my Nihilego to get my Beast Boost speed up. Hidden Power Ice is there pretty much for those 2 mons. Foul Play is super, super important because that stops me from losing to Mimikyu. It completely stops me because at +2, Persian, Dash Alola. At +2, Foul Play does 117% minimum, while a +2 Shadow Sneak to my defensive Persian does 10 to 12% is what a +2 Shadow Sneak does. +2 Play Rough it's a roll to kill me out. Like Woodhammer is doing less than 50% at +2. Shadow Claw is doing less than 25%. So this is another check to SD Mimikyu as well as Weavile. Let me go ahead and tell you guys those calcs as well. What is my exact? 116, 248. 248. And 116. Jolly Icicle Crash after leftovers. It's it has a 0% chance to 3-hit KO after Leftovers recovery, so it's a guaranteed 4-hit KO. If I switch in on knockoff, it still takes 2 Icicle Crashes to kill me, and Foul Play does 37 to 44, which is perfect because that allows me to kill him with a move from my Nihilego, including Dazzling Gleam, not allowing him to switch into Garchomp. So very, very good mod in this game. Very good defensive pivot because Parting Shot allows me to take more advantage of his walls and taunt his Fortress from getting up Stealth Rocks and Hazards on my side of the field. But yeah, after 15 minutes, I figured that's where I'll end this. I think I gave a pretty good in-depth discussion of this team before I did all my mocks. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut it until I have my mocks, and I'll tell you how I changed up this team. Okay, so I've done about 7 mocks or so, and I think I have finally come up with a team that I think is worthy of me taking into this game. I made about 4 different renditions of this team, so I think I definitely have the best team possible now. Let's go ahead and start talking about everything. I can't remember exactly what I had in the first team, so I'm just going to go over a quick rundown. I think this was just pure offensive with Dragon Claw, Rock Slide, Leaf Blade, and Earthquake. In my mocks, Mega Garchomp was actually at too much of health for me to kill it with a Dragon Claw, so I thought that going Naive plus Dragon Pulse would be a better idea. Turns out it was. It does about 20% more so just because of the base special attack and the base SPDEF of Mega Garchomp. So I'm going with that. I'm still keeping Rock Slide, Leaf Blade, and Earthquake. Then we're going to talk about Gigalith. Originally I had this as a Rindo Berry to stop Z Woodhammer. However, I don't really think that Mimikyu is that big of a threat towards this team that I have right now. So I like where this fits on, and as you can see, I'm bringing Smooth Rock, so obviously I'm bringing Sand this week. But the big thing about this one is I'm bringing Stealth Rock, Hidden Power Ice, Rock Slide, and Earthquake. Hidden Power Ice does about 30% or so to Mega Garchomp. After Stealth Rocks, instantly in range of Dragon Pulse. Dragon Pulse does 67% minimum to completely uninvested Mega Garchomp, so puts it directly in range of it. It's really, really nice. And then Rock Slide plus Earthquake is just really good coverage for the rest of his team, and Stealth Rocks are super important. My Nihilego set has changed a little bit. I changed Thunderbolt to Sludge Wave, mainly because I can actually see Professor FX going a little bit more memey, almost is how I'm going to word it. I'm going to say memey because realistically, Professor FX is willing to bring anything. He brought Girder in his week 1 game. I haven't seen what he's going to do in his week 2 game yet. I haven't seen those results, so I feel like he's willing to do anything. And what I think he's really willing to do is willing to bring Meganium in order to switch into my Excadrill. It is a very good check to it unless I am Buginium Z, or unless I'm just straight up like Swords Dance X Scissor. But just in case, I want to have a way of walling that thing. I want to be able to have a way of sending this thing in, clicking a really powerful move and not worrying about it. Also, I changed I want to elaborate a little bit more on these EVs that I found that it does in mocks. This takes Rocks, a Shadow Sneak, and an Ice Shard from a Life Orb Weavile and a Z-move Mimikyu. So it tanks a lot of priority. Late game, if all he has left to try to sweep me is priority, this can still clean up. So this set came in really handy in my last like 3 mocks or so. So I really, really like that. Then we have Florges. What I found out in my mocks was that whenever I brought in Gigalith and I got the Sand Up, my opponents would instantly go into Mega Garchomp as I clicked Rock Slide or Earthquake or whatever against whatever Mon was in, and he would instantly click Earthquake. This stops that. Not only can I predict him to go into his Garchomp and I can click Hidden Power Ice, or to set up his rocks or whatever like that, I can instantly go into my Florges and I can wall that thing a little bit better because now he's forced to run Poison Jab or Iron Head. Granted, all he needs to hit my entire team is Earthquake, Dragon Claw, and Iron Head or Poison Jab, but that means that I know all 4 of his moves right off the bat, so that's really, really good. Also, once I went into my Florges on the predicted Earthquake and I was immune to it, every single time they went into Jirachi. Hidden Power Fire from my Florges set does about 30% to uninvested Jirachi, putting it directly in range of Foul Play from my Alolan Persian, which is the exact same set, aside from Darkinium Z for a Z Parting Shot to maybe get my Excadrill or my Gigalith back up to good amounts of health. So, Hidden Power Fire is really big. This also gives me a way of hitting Fortress in case he wants to attempt to wall me out. So I really like the way, like the role that Fortress plays in my mocks, and I think it'll play a very good role. It forces out his Mega Garchomp, which is really big, because that forces something else to take damage. This is also my main check to Girder. Girder has a really good matchup against my team. I found this out during my mocks. It actually beat me down in 2 of them, so this set works out really well against it. Then we have Groundinium Z or Groundium Z Excadrill. So first thing I know that you're thinking is, why in the hell do you have 2 Z moves? Well, with my Wish support from Florges, I'm able to get Alolan Persian back up to full health. Whenever he clicks knockoff against my team with Weavile, and I go into my Persian, and I don't lose any like item, he's going to know I'm Z move. That means he can think, like he can instantly assume, okay, this means Excadrill is not Z move. It is Z move. I want to play to my advantage to where I can have the best possible scenario of me killing something. If this means that I have to use my Groundinium Z against Mega Garchomp to kill it, and then I use like Mega Sceptile's Earthquake to get some damage off on the Jirachi or something like that, I will do that. If I have to use this Groundinium Z against Jirachi in the sand, I will gladly do that. This also makes it so I can tank a knockoff from Weavile. If he's like banded, I can actually take a knockoff now with my Z move. And now I even have a better switch into Weavile and my Alolan Persian. This is also just a very good late game cleanup mon against his team, because Rock Slide plus X Scissor hits everything that Iron Head and Earthquake does not. So I really like the way this team changed over the period of time. It's actually vastly different than what I expected it to be, so I'm kind of sort of happy about that. And I hope that you guys are able to see like where my mind changed during my mocks and what I went through with trying to build for this team, because I think that his team is very unique and it's very difficult to prep against, so I'm glad that I did it with this team instead of another team. But I really am hoping that this battle goes well. I'm hoping Nihilego puts in a metric crap ton of work. But with that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Thank you all again so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.